They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
I want you to picture something for me. You're 13, and there's a new console on the market called the Xbox 360. Now you have the chance to get a console to play with your friends online and own it for yourself for once. So you go to your local GameStop with all your allowance money, get the console for your birthday, and a copy of the hottest game for the system, Halo 3. Then something catches your eye. It's just sitting on the shelf by itself. A picture of some giant in a diving suit on the front. And it's called Bioshock. Let me give you some quick context. Irrational Games, the devs of the original System Shock and System Shock 2, had a rocky start with Bioshock as a concept in a game. While the games before had pretty good sales, they were cult hits, loved by critics, but they weren't really financially successful. They could have made just a generic game to make ends meet, but that wasn't the kind of company Irrational was made to do. Ken Levine was a bit of a theater kid, and while his mentor, Doug Church, had left the company to pursue different projects, his team was still very much not a traditional team. And they wanted to make something that had more impact. So, with funds running pretty low, they were acquired by 2K in what most people would call now a devil's bargain. With their help, Bioshock was pushed out the door to huge financial success and was the darling of the gaming press. Most people's experiences with Bioshock was probably similar to mine. They found it on a shelf, or they just saw the trailer, and picked it up. Either way, the game was sold based off that. Whim. But it was clear that both word of mouth and the quality of the game drove the game to stardom. Good reviews led to good sales. So, I just wanted to talk about that, and, well, what kind of world that Irrational Games created that made it better than everything else at the time.
I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture.
Bioshock, as a whole, held up pretty well. With the remastered version that came out recently, it's got higher definition and a better picture. There are a few minor technical issues, but those are PC by PC basis. Grand buildings stretch to touch the ocean's surface, with the levels themselves housing that Art Deco look that helped start a new artistic trends in games toward the Atomic Age alongside Fallout. Bioshock embraced the architecture of the city lost to time in the sea. Crumbling structures leave a picture of half-finished pillars of industry, shopping malls filled with products designed to improve the quality of life, and the destruction Rapture's fall left on the city.
Do you see it? When I am dust, this is what they'll point to. My quad tick. My masterpiece. Go ahead. Don't be afraid. Touch it.
If you've ever watched anything on Bioshock before, or, well, played the game, you'll probably know that the story is what carried the game. The story, the atmosphere, everything about it carried it. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about gameplay, because personally, that's my favorite part of the game. Unlike its older brothers System Shock and System Shock 2, it's more simple. You don't have a full inventory, there's no carry weight, no weapon degradation. It's just you, 10 weapons, and a bunch of drugs that give you superpowers. That last one might need some explanation. Without going too much into the story, which I'm not sure I want to do, a German scientist named Tenenbaum found a slug that could change your DNA, and with it, cocktails of DNA called plasmids were made. These plasmids allowed you to run faster, be stronger, shoot lightning, and, well, just grab crap out of the air with telekinesis. It's pretty fun, in all honesty.
Immortalize their mortality in my quad. Go. Once more.
Bioshock is just simple fun. It's not Apex, it's not any of the multiple arena shooters or tactical shooters you'll see today, but it's just fun. Sure, you can play something from the build engine in that amount of time, but I think the gameplay, as well as the story and the atmosphere, really help Bioshock hold up. I should probably talk about that whole story aspect, huh?
So tell me, friend, which one of the bitches sent you? The KGB wolf or the CIA jackal? Here's the news. Rapture isn't some sunken ship for you to plunder.
As much as I'd love to talk about the story here, I really can't. The story's all told through little small anecdotes, and in all honesty, anything I could probably say would be just go play it for yourself. I don't have the time or the resources to go into a full dive on the story itself. The most I will tell you is that the story in the first half is great, the story in the second half is middling as best, and the ending is meh. Seriously, go play it for yourself. What were you gonna do? Play Warhammer 2 again? Well, that's probably what I'd do. But, you know, you're not me. Go do what you want. It's like 8 hours. Go play the game. Anyway. Bioshock on the whole is a memorable experience. But while I did say that I had a lot of fun with it, it feels more shallow than I do remember it playing. Going around and zapping bad guys was fun, but if you've seen any of my footage, you kind of just do that. That's it. You zap them, then shoot them in the head. You can do plenty of environmental things, but they all feel deliberately placed. There's water, you zap water. You find a barrel, you throw a barrel. There's oil, you use fire on it. Nothing feels organic when it comes to the gameplay, which can be fine. But in a series that was based off quick decisions and survival horror, I guess I was going back to experience more than just that. Rose-tinted glasses strike again. Either way, Bioshock is one of the few landmark titles in the industry from that time, and its console port gave it mainstream appeal, and forced the team to tone down the complexity from its other titles. Which in the end I think worked out for him. As far as purchasing the game, you have 2 options. Since the original was taken down off Steam, the only place you can buy the game legally on PC is from the Humble Bundle, which is about $5. The remastered version, which I have been using for footage, is around $20. The remastered version has new definition for modern televisions and, well, PCs, and has the DLC from the old PS3 version of the game. The DLC adds about 3 hours of content in all, and I doubt most people will want to pay $15 for maybe half of an indie game these days. I don't know. You pick your battles. Either way, I'd recommend anyone play this if you haven't already. And if you've already played it, maybe go back to the City Under the Sea this Halloween to see how it feels again. Maybe do a wrench-only run. Maybe play an evil run before giving up halfway, and then go play the correct way. Have fun.